Leadership Lifestyles video blog. Today we're going to be discussing two of my favorite topics, goal setting and happiness. The question then is, how do we set goals in order to yield more personal happiness? And the answer to this is found within a scientifically based research study that focused on two different generations, how they set goals, and how that affects their happiness. The younger generation and the older generation. Spoiler alert, it's the older generation that's better. What is the younger generation doing that doesn't allow them to reap as much happiness upon the achievement of their goals as the older generation? Well, it comes down to a couple of simple concepts. The first of which is the number of goals. The younger generation has so many goals. They're very focused on growth, so they have this long list of things that they want to achieve in life. Maybe I have a goal of becoming a best-selling author. I also have a goal of becoming a triathlete, of being a translator for the UN, being the CEO of a major corporation. I want to make all of my pasta from scratch, donate 200 hours of volunteer service per year to be on the cover of a box of Wheaties. Now, all those goals sound very ambitious and very worthy of pursuing if that's what you're passionate about. And yet, because there's so many goals, when the younger generation achieves goals, they also become very aware of all the things that they have left to do, and therefore don't spend as much time reveling in the happiness of the accomplishment of one goal. Whereas the older generation, they realize, you know what, maybe I'm not going to be CEO. And they start practicing selection. They start choosing what are the goals that are worthy of my time and of my pursuit. And they put more energy behind those fewer goals, and therefore, when they achieve them, reap more happiness. The second concept is divergence or convergence. So similar to the first example with the younger generation of having so many different pursuits. If I pursue becoming a UN translator, that might detract from me becoming the CEO of a corporation. Or if I pursue so much time volunteering, that might take away from the time I would plan training to become an athlete worthy of being on the cover of a Wheaties box. These goals, upon pursuing one, might actually detract from another. And therefore, when you achieve one, you also are acknowledging the fact that you're moving further away from others, and therefore you're not reaping as much happiness. Whereas, again, the older generation has figured out a few more things. They figured out that, you know what? If I want to eat healthier, provide for my family, and learn about plants and flowers, just by having a garden in my backyard, I can get closer to all three of those. And so they're better about selecting goals that actually align with one another. Lastly, there's this concept of process versus outcome. So let's look at that Wheaties box. Just being on a Wheaties box is really a check in the box. You either got it or you didn't get it. It's defining success by that one outcome. Whereas a process is that whole idea that, okay, I want to be an athlete. I want to master a certain trade or skill. And therefore, even if you don't end up on a Wheaties box, you can still be fulfilled by the fact that you've made progress. You've started to truly master something, or you have mastered it. And whether or not that check goes in the box of that outcome, you feel like you've won. And therefore, goals that are based and rooted in process versus outcome actually yield more fulfillment and that sense of true happiness upon their achievement. In summary, if you want to set goals that will make you happier in life, you need to first practice selection, second, choose goals that are convergent and that are well aligned with one another, and finally, have them be rooted more in process than focused on just the outcome. For more information about the research study that informed this topic, please look in the YouTube channel description for this episode. Subscribe, tell your friends, and we'll see you next week. Thanks!